Namaskar, welcome to Honest Astrologer, and today I have a very special guest. This is one of my clients and one of my youngest clients who ended up becoming an astrologer himself. So I thought I would rather give him an introduction and launch through this channel. So this is a very interesting person and highly intelligent, and this is going to be a great case study. So please welcome Shivanshu Pandey with me. Shivanshu, welcome.
Thank you so much for such kind words, Sapil. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Shivanshu, just tell us about your background. What have you done, and how did you end up with astrology?
So I have basically done my bachelor's in engineering, as we all do, computer science, and I'm pursuing my master's in BITS Pilani for data science AI. And I ended up into astrology. My father was also a practicing astrologer. I mean, he learned astrology, not like a commercial astrologer, but he had taught me basics. But I had learned proper astrology and practiced it after his death.
Oh, okay. So how did astrology enter your life apart from your father? Yes, you did get some background, but how did it get
So
serious?
the first time I actually my father was not very keen on teaching me astrology.
Most
He
of them are
wanted,
not. Even
yeah,
my father wasn't.
I now I understand why. Now I understand after learning it. But I first picked up the book of astrology called Modern Astrology by B.V. Ramanan's daughter, Gayatri Devi. So she runs a astrology magazine in Bangalore, and I just picked up a copy. And then after that, when he died, to cope up with the pain, I started seeing KRS. So there's a YouTuber
Yeah,
named
yeah,
KRS
yeah.
Astrology.
Yes, yes.
I started seeing his videos, and then I also saw your video at one point. I think it was about Ketu Mahadasha, but I was not going through Ketu, so I didn't relate much with it. Then I think then once my mother had a session with E.K. Dilip Kumarji, and he invited me to learn astrology. And for
Mhm,
14 months, I was in his group, like under him studying.
mhm,
And after that, I got my formal certification diploma from Sri Maharishi Vidyalaya last year.
mhm,
So I wanted to formalize it because I wanted to learn about Hinduism and Veda and all of this, like how it is related.
mhm. Okay. So, how did we get in touch if you want to tell the audience?
Yes, so actually it's very interesting. I think while I was with E.K. Dilip Kumar sir, I saw one of his video, I think with collaboration on Shani,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I was like, this person knows Shani. I'm still going through Shani Mahadasha, and I'm like, how does this person know Shani so well? Because then I saw, then I think one of his clients, I think Divya Gupta, so she was also in the group with me, and she had suggested me that for your personality, maybe you can try this. And I think 3 years ago, I consulted him, and I really what I liked is firstly, you're technical, but more than technical, the way you described in a very practical way, like कि ऐसे होना है तो ये ऐसे होगा, like in a very not in a very fancy fauza wala type way, in a crisp to the point, कि what has to be done. So that is something that I like to be on point. And that's how I started. I was obsessed with your blogs. So for people, so I think first time I read your Shani blog was when I lost my father in 2020. Also, I had seen that time, but I had read 100 words. Then last 3 years ago, I think it's a very long blog, but I read it
It's
10
a
times. I
10,000
read,
year, 10,000
yeah,
word article. Yeah.
yes, and I read it 10 times at
Wow.
least. That's how obsessed. I was like, how does this person know I'm cynical right now? My missed perfection and such words you had used. And like this person must have gone through Shani himself to write this. I don't think anybody. And then now that I'm writing books, I saw that okay, Pushya go through Shani earlier in life. So he has already gone through that. So I was like, my God. So I guess everyone goes through that. So I like that you were also very kind to me. And you were also like a father figure. I still say that. So I wanted to keep in connect with you on this.
Thank you. I'm so honored. Okay, so coming back to you now, you have been through, you've been through Bits Pilani and all, and people dream about it. And working in a consulting company, in a Fortune 500 company, why take this detour, boss? I mean,
So
my father used to say that share market is the first refuge of the unemployed, the second is astrology. How did a consultant and a bits Pilani guy end up in astrology?
So a consultant and bits planning guy gives me the financial backing that I don't have to depend on astrology just for money. So now I can learn it properly and teach it properly. I feel it is, I mean, it is part of Vedanga, which is part of the Vedas. That's why it's called Vedic astrology, and it's part of our religion. So I want people to understand that this is not just some superstition Baba coming with, that Charu type impression. That it's a very scientific approach and it's very mathematical. If you go, like, you can make the whole chart on Excel,
Mm.
right? So I thought that if I can help, like, I am a little selfish when it comes to punya. So I thought if I can maybe, do it as a side hustle in which I can help people, in consult, see their pain, give them coping mechanism, it will give me some punya, and on the side, if I earn something, okay, good for me. That's a good side income, and it helps people
Mm.
basically.
Okay, so what was the reaction of friends, family, relatives when you told them I'm going to become an astrologer?
They were actually, it was a little funny. They were like, "Hey." So the first Hindi word is like, "Hey," and I said that obviously I'm not leaving everything and just becoming a Baba. Like they think that, so it was not like that. I explained them, and they were supportive and they were kind, but they were skeptic. That astrology would come with that skepticism that okay, maybe it's not a real profession, sort of thing.
What is so? Let me play the devil's advocate. What's the strongest argument against astrology that you personally struggle to answer?
Okay, that's a deep question, and I feel, see, as someone who's from the science background, if you see the one of the most accurate tests in the world is the antibody test for HIV. Even that is 99% accurate, not 100. No medical test, even cancer screening, can be 90% accurate. And in astrology or Jyotisha, as we say, astrology is a mix of science and art of interpretation. This is what I've learned. So science chalo will be correct and accurate, but art of interpretation, some places even I can go wrong. So accuracy might drop to 75 or 80%. That's something that I sometimes, when most of the times, it very rarely it happens that I'm not able to explain some pattern, but that time that personal conflict comes. Secondly, I feel I'm a very free will sort of person, obviously science background and all. And for me, what I feel, astrology predicts what will happen to you. Suppose you and me are going through Ketu, we both will lose 100 rupees from our bank account if we had 100. How I deal with that and how you will deal with that, astrology can't say. That is our reaction. Okay, so that is psychology and how life will react. And I like to quote that, someone quoted that 1% is what happens to you, 99% is react. I don't think that's fully true.
No.
I think 90% is what happen, how you react, and 10% what happens to you. Astrology predicts the 10%. And sometimes I also have this conflict that astrology, like nakshatras, I've written a book and I've seen patterns of nakshatra like Pushyas or Purva Bhadrapadas or different nakshatras having a similar pattern. Even Purva Bhadrapada, Punarvasu, and Vishaka will have a some similar themes as Jupiter Nakshatra
Mhm.
or Shani. So somewhere I feel that yes, personality is also determined, but I don't want that, pura time that it's deterministic.
Yeah.
Like we are living in a determined. I do believe I want to have free will. Sometimes it's an inner conflict, but that's how I have accepted it.
Like they say, don't blame yourself, learn astrology and blame the stars.
Yes,
Most
sort of.
people take that line of thought.
Definitely, and that's why I've written a blog about this, that you can't use karma to use it as an excuse or let treat people badly. It's the same thing, yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, what's the strongest evidence that made you take astrology seriously?
So you, to be honest, you are a little bit of a culprit here because, and this happened very recently. I don't know if anyone seeing this video would be seeing. I would everyone to recommend Bad Boys of Astrology by Sir. So he's
That's my
written a
book.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's written a book, and why they are called bad boys, and he has also sent in his blog that 90% of people come to him in these three dashas. And guess what? The very first three clients I got were in Shani, Ketu, and Rahu. I was like, this some magic sir has done. This is why this is happening. So this is the most recent one. It has happened within the past 2 weeks, and Before this, I can say, like, for example, I'll even tell about the clients without divulging details. All of them asked me questions about different part, like career and all. And the moment I saw certain combinations, like Sun in seventh, debilitated Mangal in seventh with Ra, the first thing I asked, marriage. It will be marriage. And they said, yeah, actually, we were coming into that, So I'm able to see patterns in people and their personality and their karma, like what is difficult, but just from astrology. And I've seen it, at least I myself, I think on my database only I have some 200 charts and I've validated real life 200 people.
Yeah. So science, any science is about pattern recognition, and so is astrology. I am very happy to see young kids like you coming in because I am so sick of those, त्रिपुंड लगा के बड़ी बड़ी माला शंख
I
बजाते
same,
थे.
same, same.
They bring ridicule to that. मतलब, you need
Heart.
somebody who has been through the trenches. You have
Yeah.
done a corporate job, you have been married, you have faced those problems. So when you are on both sides of the table, you can understand it properly.
Empathy. Yeah, empathy comes. Correct.
And you understand the real world problems. If you are sitting in a
Hmm.
temple, you cannot say, "Oh जी ये कर लो ऐसा हो जाएगा." That
Correct.
doesn't work like that. You need to understand. So
Exactly.
that's important. Now, when you consult people, what is your biggest challenge that you face through while consulting clients? I will tell you mine. My problem comes when a client is hell bent on something and they want an answer to be yes.
Yeah.
So there I have that difficult thing. What's the challenge that you face the most?
For me, it's the older generation's mother, actually. So
Ah,
if I see a chart which I know marriage may not be, not everyone is meant for marriage. I'll be very honest on
yeah,
the
yeah, true.
channel also. And when I see them that when I have to tell it to the mother, it's painful for me also. And the way their tone and everything
Oh
changes,
yes,
and they're like,
oh yes.
try something, we can make it work. As like,
How
I
could you
wish
say
this
that?
worked. I'm like, even if there are remedies and all, that karma is too difficult to change. And
Yeah,
the
even if
for
you get it done, it won't end well.
it won't end well. And the thing is, their argument, and I understand their empathy, they have built their whole commerce around the child, the marriage, saved gold for child's marriage, saved the other. But there are, so this part of astrology, which is very real, to give bad news to people. I think that's very painful on me personally because even though I'm a very, my psychology personality is very ENTJ, it's very on the point, but still we are humans, right? So it feels pain to say bad news to someone and it's tough. And to see that response that they want something to be done to, made it work. One of, this is very personal, but one of my, I will not forget this, but it was one of my friend's parents in college and they were going through Markesh. If someone already knows astrology, Shani Markesh. And that person had cancer and he was going through Shani Rahu or something, which is very painful. And Rahu was also in seven, double Markesh. And he was on stage four. And he called me and he said, can I live? I think that was till now the most difficult part I have seen of being an astrologer till today. That has stayed with me.
That's tough. Okay, so what are the areas in astrology that you wish to focus upon? For example, I am a fanatic about Mahadasha Antardasha. Before I came on the screen, there was very little content about these things. And I was the guy who hammered out, many pages, and by the
Yes.
grace of God, they went viral. So I am totally obsessed with Mahadasha Antardasha and knowing oneself, more the psychological aspect of astrology.
Correct,
What
correct.
is it that you are obsessed with?
For me, it's I'm little obsessed with nakshatras also
Mm,
nowadays because I see if you see 20 people, like just observe them, not see the charts of a same nakshatra, you will see similar patterns in them.
mhm,
Like you can pinpoint it. That's what I've written a book about it also,
mhm,
nakshatra reflection. What I personally focus on, as you said, Mahadasha, Antardasha, like I also have written, like one of my book has an inner book just about this Mahadasha, Antardasha and what Parashar said. I focus on classics a lot, like Brigu Sutram and Brihat Parashara Parashastra.
mhm,
And I focus on the lordship where which is sitting, the 6, 8, 12. The basic chart reading. I don't go into the nitty-gritties like Ashtak Varga or this. I respect it fully, but it's not my forte, and I don't even do gochar very deeply. I know basics, but I don't see again. Yeah, it affects you 10-15%, but major to Mahadasha, Antardasha,
Mahadasha,
and
right.
the chart. I mean, if your chart is bad, even if you have Jupiter exalted in first transit and all, it will not give you money, I think. So chart is something that I see. Yes.
Mhm. Okay.